What's up, guys? Welcome back to episode 2. I'm your host, Jamie. This is The Truth Is. And the truth is, it's taken me so while to make even an episode number 2 because honestly, I just haven't been feeling it. As most of you know, I am dealing with an injury and it's a long recovery. And it has been extremely tough on my mental to kind of just sit around. Um, yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm struggling. I'm struggling. I've always struggled with mental health. And my way of coping has been sports and has been to be extremely active. And don't get me wrong, God has blessed me. Obviously, I'm still very able bodied. I have another arm. I can move. I have two legs. But it's just very hard to go from one extreme to the other. Being a high performing elite athlete and then basically having to park it. And, it's one thing. I've had a plethora of injuries in the past, tons of surgeries, broken bones, tears, et cetera, et cetera. But this one takes the cake. Pretty much the doctors say 6 to 9 months. I'm 2 months into PT. So I still have like a ways to go, and it's just up to my body and obviously how PT goes and the different steps and parts of all this shit. So I really don't exactly have a time frame as to when I'll fight. I'm praying and I have faith that it'll be at the end of this year. But it's really up to my body and yeah, and then I'm used to really not having even any guidelines from doctors. They're usually like, yeah, go do whatever you want. I can't, obviously because the jarring in my arm, there's still the big fracture in my forearm hasn't fully healed yet. So because of that, jarring of the arm, like hard running, sprinting, obviously punching, all that is a no go right now. So, I'm very grateful that the doctors said, I can do like zone 2, like light running now, which speaking of, if you know me, you know I hate to run. I hate it. All my coaches know I hate long distance runs. I don't mind a sprint. That's what I'm built for. I'm a power athlete, so sprinting is like my thing. Long distance runs is like a no go. So this is actually, I'm testing myself during this time period because I hate running so much. I am now forcing myself to run. So I hit my third or fourth run actually this morning. Um, when they tell you runner's high, that's a real fucking thing, bro. And I love it. I ran 5 miles this morning. Oh, oh. Okay, because your girl will never do that. I barely run past a mile, let alone two. I did 2 miles 2 days ago, and it sucked. I had one of my homies on the phone with me while I was running. I was like, this fucking sucks. And then I had a bug in my ass yesterday. I was like, you can do it. And I know when I put my mind to things, I can do whatever I put my mind to, but I just gotta suck it up, buttercup, and do it. And today I was like, I'm gonna run the 5 miles. Nice, slow, steady pace. When I say slow and steady, a 12-minute mile every mile. Slow. It was so easy. It was a nice, easy, controlled run. And I'm like, bro, by the fifth mile, I'm like, I could keep going. And so obviously you can tell I'm still like, oh, like hype from the run right now. But yeah, so pretty much like now I'm kind of putting my energy into things that one, I hate doing and just kind of like, because I love a challenge. That's the part of me, an itch I always have to try and scratch. I love to challenge myself with different things. So running now is kind of one of my things, and I understand the mental endurance that you need for it. It's the same as fighting. I've been like researching all these ultra marathon runners and marathon runners because I've never run even a half marathon or anything like that. So now, being that I'm going to be out for so long, I'm like, I gotta train for something. So that's kind of like where I'm at. I'm looking at using this downtime as like as much as it's a struggle. I want to use it to obviously just push myself in different areas and aspects. So you guys might see me running a race very soon. Once my doctor clears me for obviously like a harder running and sprints and stuff like that, I definitely want to train for a marathon, a half marathon or something just to say I did it. And then, hey, who knows where it's going to go from there. Um, but yeah, the truth is I've been fucking struggling. And I'm a Virgo, if you guys don't know. And if you know all about us Virgos, we live up here. I am the queen of overthinking everything. And I actually struggle with severe anxiety. And again, a lot of you people that have met me in the real world are like, "You anxiety?" Yes. And it like anxiety to the point I wish I could unzip my skin and walk out of it. Anxiety where I won't leave the house for a couple days. Um, like I start like shaking and crying anxiety. For the most part, it's okay right now. Okay, take that back. This last week was hard. I had a really hard week last week. Um, and it sucks because I want to shoot these episodes. I want to talk to you guys about what's going on. And then it's like the thought of coming on here and telling y'all what's really going on with me is like, yuck. Like, it really makes my stomach hurt. And then it kind of like mentally causes me to spiral and not want to do what the premise of my freaking show is, to come on here and talk about the truth is what's going on with me, what's going on in the world, whatever. So here we are. I'm trying. This is me trying because my close friends know I'm not super public about a lot. I'm pretty private. I like to just my misery doesn't like company. You know what I'm saying? I like to just handle everything, and then when I'm feeling better, I'll come back around. But what I have noticed recently is like surrounding myself with really good, healthy, like-minded people has really helped me. You know, I'm trying to do my life differently. This is also what's causing me a lot of anxiety and like pressure is, I'm at the top of my game in my career. Now it's like, it's kind of on a pause, but there's other things that I can obviously tackle, outside of my career, in a different way, and I'm trying to do it all. And it's hard. It's hard. I'm trying to change aspects about me right now that no longer fit my life and don't align with my morals or my goals anymore. So like there's just certain coping behaviors that I have and certain things that I do or even say that I'm like, so like I'm just in the midst of like changing a lot about myself. And sometimes change is easy, and for me right now change has been pretty hard. So letting go of friends I've had in my life for a long time that just don't fit me right now and don't fit my future of where like I see myself being and going. Nobody talks about the grief with that. Like it's one thing to grieve someone that died, but to grieve someone that's still living and walking this earth that you could so easily reach out to and talk to, um, is difficult. Um, but yeah, like I said, like I am a big overthinker, so I'm constantly in my head. If you ask me what's going, like, what are you thinking about, and I say nothing, that's a motherfucking lie. That's a motherfucking lie. There's usually always something on my brain, unless I'm stony baloney to the freaking max, and just like disassociating. Well, then yeah, like nothing's really on my brain. But for the most part, there's always something just swirling around in there. It's like a freaking the internet with like 1,000 million different tabs open. That's me. And then like your check engine light with your body's physically on all the time. So yeah, that's where I'm at. I'm feeling much better, obviously, because I nutted up the courage. Does that make sense? I nutted up the courage. I shouldn't even say that. I'm sorry, guys. Anyway, I mustered up the courage. Anyway, mustered up the courage to do this today. It's about time. So, yeah. But recovery's going good, though. Back to my arm. Recovery's going good. Doctors are happy. It's hard. I'm in now, like, the passive stretching. So, like, they're cranking it. I actually took the brace off because it's so agitating. It's very agitating to have it on all day. And I knew I wasn't going to be doing anything crazy right now, just talking to y'all. So, see? There's certain things I can, like, this is as far as I can go. Like, turning it. I can't, flip my hand up and down. So they're cranking on my arm, 2 to 3 times a week I'm going to PT, and then obviously every day for the most part I'm doing my own PT, and just trying to find little things in each day to get me out of my body and get me out of my mind and just present in the moment. I shouldn't say it's, I guess, more in my body. Both out of my body and in it at the same time. Out of my brain, but in my body and in the present moment. There we go. There we go. I just had to talk it out. I've actually been trying to hang out with my friends a little bit more, be a little bit more social. But, as someone like me, when my cup isn't full and I'm running on E, it's very, very hard for me to want to be around anybody because I do have the energy and the type. I fill people's cups, and I know that about myself, and I love that about myself. But when my cup is like running low, I just like to kind of sit back and just kind of focus on myself. So that's really what I've been doing these last few weeks, is just trying to get my shit together, figure out what my next moves are. Like another stressor in my life really right now is because of this injury. I usually work when I'm not in training camp. I work for my dad, and we hang rain gutters on homes. If you guys don't know what they are, I mean, look at your house. And basically, it's the little thing on the outside. It traps the water, and it comes down in a downspout on the outside of your house and runs down and, gets the water away from your house. That's what we do. And guess what? You need both hands. And so right now, I can't even work. So I'm really like, I have a lot of downtime. And downtime for someone like me with idle hands who doesn't have the best coping mechanisms isn't good. So again, that kind of backtracks to why I'm kind of struggling, but it's been really good because I'm growing up. If you guys don't know, I'm 35 years old. Black don't crack. As I get older and a little bit wiser as time goes on, there's just, like I said, there's certain things in my life that I just no longer align with, like the partying all the time, drinking, doing drugs. I'm really trying to step away from that lifestyle. I love my weed though, y'all know that. And I really use weed for my anxiety, and I have actually extreme arthritis. Like I'm riddled with arthritis all over my body, and I'm pretty much in pain almost every day. So it's one of those things where it's like I take a little, edible, smoke a little weed. Whew, your girl is feeling brand new. I personally don't think there's anything wrong with that. But then when it comes to like drinking, it's like I can have a drink here and there, but then sometimes it leads into having three, four, five, six, and then it leads into other things. And it's just all of that. For the life I'm trying to live as a professional elite level athlete, and to really turn things around for my life, I want to be able to financially support myself. I want to be able, God willing, to financially support my parents for the rest of their lives if I can. Like there's certain goals and things I want to do that wasting money on drugs and alcohol, or just wasting money on just frivolous things, that materialistic things that just don't hold any weight in the world, is just dumb. But it goes back to bad coping mechanisms, and when I get triggered or something, I just, even like, it's not even about alcohol. I'm gonna let y'all in, especially when I get the munchies. But if I'm like emotionally unraveling, don't let me get on my Uber Eats. 7-Eleven, hate to see your girl coming. I will order $20 worth of snacks, and I will eat them all in one sitting. And I'll do that like day after day after day. Like I'll eat clean all day, I'll work out, whatever. It hits nighttime, the emotion, I get triggered, and I start spiraling. Snack time. And that's when a lot of you guys have seen me. If I start to like go up in weight, that's usually really why. I'm usually like either depressed or my anxiety is really bad, and I'm just eating my feelings. And I was doing that a little bit last week, but I actually cleaned my act up just a smidge. I did it last night, but I was a little high. So I needed a little sweet treat. But yeah, like these are, so like right now I'm trying to break the patterns, so break the patterns so I can create a new freaking cycle going forward, a better, healthier, cleaner cycle. And like I said, like I have been really, really, really strict. I run me a strict program over here. I know a lot of people, but my circle is very small. I keep, and I do that for a reason, because I know who I am and I know what I'm capable of, from, the good things I do, but also to the bad things I can do, or my weaknesses. I know my strengths, I know my weaknesses, I should say. And I've just learned that some people have a tendency to pull on those weaknesses and pull you back to somewhere you necessarily don't want to be anymore, and are trying to grow from and get away from. I've had to cut off quite a few people over the last year, which again sucks. But ultimately, I know it is for the betterment of me and my future. So yeah, that's pretty much where I've been at. Otherwise, life's been cool. I'm not dating right now. I tried. it's one of those things. I'd rather lock in on myself. I'd rather just stay locked in, focused on, my recovery, my career, my future, my family, my friends, and, just making myself happy right now. And to be honest, dating really doesn't make me happy. Y'all men out there, don't make me really happy. And I'm grateful. And anyway, moving on from that. What does make me grateful is that even though, like, during my low times and obviously my high times, there's always one person I can lean on. And actually recently, it's not just recently, I've noticed over the last few years since becoming closer to my man, God. I lean a lot more on him. Um, I go to him for guidance. I cry to him. I laugh with him. I talk to God more than I talk to people. Straight up, I really do. I talk to God way more than I will talk to my friends or my family members. I have conversations all day with him out loud. If someone saw me, they would think I was like a schizophrenic. No offense to the schizophrenics out there, but I mean, I'm not. So, but I talk to him all day, and it's funny when you get to a place where you really need clarity. Um, Sitting in silence and just talking with him, even like going on my hikes recently, I've been hitting some long, if you guys have noticed, I've been hitting some really, really long hikes, anywhere from 8 to 12 to 13 miles. And I've been doing that a lot more recently. I was really, like I said, last week was a tough week. I was really struggling. And I went out into the Pine Barrens in New Jersey and I just walked. I got my pack on, my weighted vest, and I hit the trails. No music. At some points, I started listening to one of David Goggins' books, because it's been recommended to me by quite a few people. So I finally listened to it. So I would listen to that. But other than that, I was just talking to God, just waiting to hear something. And damned if I do, damned if I don't. I heard that motherfucker. Excuse me. Sorry. But I did. You know, Sometimes you just have to sit in the silence and sit in the storm or even just the little rainstorm. You just have to sit and you got to talk to him. He's going to answer you. It's just not when you want. And that's what I'm getting used to. And I've been asking God to give me patience. And boy, between the injury and just current life situations right now and current things, if I ain't learning some motherfucking patience, I don't know what else. I don't know what else I'm learning. I'm definitely, I'm learning a lot. But yeah, patience is definitely huge. And just sitting with myself in the midst of the shit instead of distracting myself, instead of, just going off and fucking off and doing dumb shit. I sit with myself more, alone and just talk to him. And that's it. It's really that simple. And as humans, we complicate things way more than we really need to, especially like people like me when we're in our heads a lot and you're trapped in there. 9 times out of 10, when you're in your head, you're basically making up assumptions, which to me, assumptions are lies. You're assuming things that aren't true, or you're ruminating about things and making up stories. Or, me, I like to weigh out every consequence, good and bad, and everything. And it's like, everybody knows it's like a double-edged sword. It's good. It's good because it kind of, someone like me, kind of calms my anxiety, because it's like I've thought of every way possible that things could go. But then it's like you do that and you're kind of in that fight or flight, like frozen, like kind of like waiting for something to happen, good or bad. That's not a good place to be. You know what I mean? So that's where I'm trying to get out of my head more and just be in the present moment and enjoy the day and the people. Again, surrounding myself with good people, just making sure I'm just doing things to better myself and make myself a little bit happier, a little bit more at peace. And if it wasn't for God and the people in my life that, you know, not everyone in my life, is everyone in my life right now a believer of Christ? Actually, I gotta take that back. I think just about every close friend of mine is. Huh, that's cool. That's actually cool to see. Because if you actually knew me, I didn't start believing in him until 3, 4 years ago. That's cool. I would have never, it would have never been a thought to me to like make sure I had godly friends around me. It would have never, that thought never crossed my mind. But now it does. Dang, I kind of feel like crying now. Every time I talk about God, I always get emotional. He's just worked so many miracles in my life. So, yeah, definitely very thankful, definitely very grateful. Well, this is gay. I didn't think I was going to cry today, but here we are. Oh, by the way, the new Liquid Death flavor, Mountain Don't, top tier. Top tier. It's my favorite. I can't cry. Damn, my makeup looks bomb. Can we talk about it though? Yes. Okay. Oh, anyway, but yeah, no, Liquid Death, y'all gotta sponsor me because I am like a crackhead with these. I really am. I will drive the closest 7-Eleven I found that has Liquid Death, Mountain Don't, this actual flavor, is in Jackson, New Jersey, which is 30 minutes from me. And I mean, I don't mind driving there, but damn, Liquid Death, like, help a girl out. Send me a box. They don't even have it on their website yet to ship. Okay, so let's get it together, Liquid Death, because your girl wants some more. But yeah, so that's where I'm at, guys. Um, I really, again, the truth is, I still don't know what the fuck I'm doing with this show. I am flying by the seat of my pants per usual, and I knew I kind of just needed to come on here. I'm gonna try my best to be a little bit more consistent. That's one thing I sometimes can lack in life: consistency and committing to things. And I obviously didn't buy all this freaking equipment for it to just sit here, and collect dust. I'm doing it for a reason, and not just to obviously connect with more people and maybe even help someone, but to help myself. And I can't lie, sitting here talking right now, I actually do feel a little bit better. And I know I'm about to go enjoy. It's freaking beautiful outside. I'm about to go hang out with one of the homies and enjoy the rest of my day and my weekend. And yeah, but yeah, that's where I'm at. I have a few ideas though for my next couple episodes. I definitely have some things I do want to get into and talk about. Definitely some deep shit, but also some cool shit. But yeah, guys, that's where I'm at. Thanks for joining. I don't know if this episode helped anyone, but it did help me. So honestly, that's all that matters. I hope everyone enjoys the rest of their weekend, and I will see you guys next time for episode 3. Bye.